This week's reflections go through the Passion story as told by John. Today's reading is in chapter 18 and it's in two parts. The first part is verse 15 to 18 and the second part, verse 25 to 27. It's the story of how Peter denied that he knew Jesus as Jesus was being falsely accused and tried. On first reading, it's obvious what's going on here. Peter is guilty of hypocrisy and hubris. He is the arrogant one. I'm the man. I will stand by you, Jesus. Everyone else might fall away, but I will fight to the end. And yet he's the one who goes the furthest out of all the disciples in distancing himself from him. But actually, when we start to read the context, it makes a bit more sense. Peter is a simple fisherman. He doesn't belong in the high priest's house, and he's only let in when another disciple vouches for him. He would have known that it wasn't his place, wasn't his status. He would have felt embarrassed and ashamed to be there. A servant girl comes to let him in. And in the story just before this, Peter has cut off the ear of another servant from this household. So he's probably feeling worried, confused, embarrassed, not sure what to do. Surely they know. Surely they would be after him too after the damage he's done. He tries to get in alongside the other disciple. And we see him warming himself by a fire. The trial is happening at night. They're rushing it through before the Passover because they know the trouble that Jesus caused at other Passovers. But it's not normal to have a trial at night. It's not normal to have to light fires during that time of year. And here Peter is warming himself up. The crisis has come at the wrong time. The contrast is with Jesus' response. And that's why the stories of the denials are wrapped around Jesus' first round of questioning. Jesus calls for witnesses. You say this is true? Bring someone to testify. And here we have Peter, a witness. And he says, no, I don't know that man. Peter denies him again and again. He's asked the same question twice, and then a witness recognizes him. Some writers have said that Peter can't fully follow Jesus until Jesus has died for him. But I think there's a human level to approach this story at, as well as the theological level. We feel prepared to follow Jesus. And when we've been at a big conference, or we've been blessed, or heard a great sermon, or been able to gather together at church, we might feel like we can take on the world to share God's love with everyone we meet. But the crisis nearly always comes at the wrong time. And we find ourselves in the cold of the night being pushed and prodded. Do you know Jesus? Were you with that man? I pray that whatever situation you find yourself in, you would be able to speak of Jesus today.